Happy Tuesday! Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Welcome aboard. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. It is episode 279 of The Daily Dope. So, do want to point out, today I am going to be reviewing Wrestlenomicon! Yes, I did an unboxing of this last week. This is currently up on Kickstarter, so I wanted to make sure that I got a review out before the Kickstarter ended. Right? Of course. That makes sense. So this is from Arc Dream Publishing as well as Fire Opal Games. I am going to be sharing how to play as well as reviewing that in just a couple of minutes. So, do want to point out that this is a live stream, so if you are watching live, by all means, feel free to say hello, or if you've got a question, chime on in, or maybe there's something about Wrestlenomicon you would like to kind of delve into a little deeper. Maybe I'm kind of glossing over something. By all means, chime in. Chat is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I do kind of keep some of the stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to the chat. So if you chime in, I will respond. Now, if you watch the video and you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you check out some of the Gaming Gang videos and you like the channel, maybe subscribe. And if you do subscribe, be sure to ring that bell, because that bell will not only notify you when there's a new video that pops up, it will also tell you when the stream goes live. Within about 5 minutes, I think. So that's normally how it works. So tonight, I am not doing any tabletop gaming news. I am going to kind of jump right on into the how to play as well as the review for Wrestlenomicon, because honestly, I think Arc Dream Publishing and Fire Opal Games will probably use this video in some respects to for their Kickstarter. Hey, Kabuki Kid's popping in already. Hey, Kabuki Kid, good to see you. So anyway, I was going to say, so no game news tonight. The tabletop gaming news will return tomorrow night. I will also talk about what's coming up this week on the show, as well as into next after the review. A little different today. Usually I'll talk about that before I get into the, like the main course. But doing things a little bit differently tonight. So let's kind of jump on in and take a look once again. Hey, Paul Nolan's popping in. Hey, Paul, good to see you. So we are going to be taking a look at Wrestlenomicon from Arc Dream Publishing and Fire Opal Games. It's designed by Dennis Detweiler, Rob Heinzu, and Shane Ivey, with artwork provided by Dennis Detweiler. No, I'm sorry. I should say, my gosh, I do not have who the artist was. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I think it was... Yeah, wait a second here. While I'm doing that, let me jump back. To here. I had that jotted down because I want to share the artist. Actually, you know what? I am sure I can probably just grab it out of the credits in the rulebook, because the artwork is pretty impressive. Pretty good stuff. Kurt Komoda. There we go. Kurt Komoda. Good deal. All right. Now I can get this out of my way, and then I can see exactly what's going on again. So, anywho, I do want to point out the game is on Kickstarter right now. It is about 80% of the way to its funding, and it is for 2 players, ages 12 and up, plays in about 20 to 45 minutes. You can reserve a copy of Wrestlenomicon for a $20 pledge through April 19th. So you've got about 9.5 days to go before this wraps up. So you may have watched last week. I believe I'm not sure if Paul and Kabuki Kid were watching last week when I did the unboxing for Wrestlenomicon. So I'm going to kind of touch on a few different things. So let's move on over to the other camera here. Bang! So I've got this kind of set up. I do want to point out that it is kind of squeezed in. To be very, very honest with you, you would usually have way more space to kind of spread out while you're at the gaming table. I've got it kind of squeezed in because I don't have that much room. So the premise of this is kind of a smackdown. This is a throwdown. It's the two elder gods. It's Cthulhu versus Hastur. And it is pretty much a battle for the universe, I guess we will say. So this is a card game, and it's kind of a card battling game, but it's a lot different than what you'll normally run across. So first thing is you're going to set up, and you're going to take, this is the Cthulhu deck here. You're going to take your deck of cards. You're going to make sure that you separate your cultists out of your deck, because you are not going to start with cultists in your deck. I'm going to zoom in so we'll get a better look at the cards too. So I have these face down because these cultists have not been recruited yet. But you're also going to take 25 cards from your deck randomly. You're just going to take 25 random cards and you're going to place them on your guts. So these are effectively your hit points. So rather than having you sit there and track on a piece of paper or using a 20-sided die or anything like that, you're actually using cards from your deck as your life, as your health points. You're also going to put your deck, so you got your deck all set up right here. So each of the players will do the same thing. So they're going to make sure that they've got their cultists off on the side. They've taken them out of the decks. They're going to take 25 cards from their deck, make their guts, and then they've got their deck. Now, I thought it was kind of interesting how Wrestlenomicon has these cards in it. So this is sort of the universe. This is kind of like the steps that your attack cards will move down. But we also have these cards for you to put permanent cards. So if you play a permanent card, you can put it out there. We've got a little discard card. So when you discard your cards, you can put them right there. I thought that was kind of interesting because a lot of times with many card games, they'll just say, okay, well, here's the layout. This is how you put it out there and, just knock yourself out. Make a grid, whatever. With some card games, that you have certain locations. So I thought that was kind of cool that there's these little cards. Well, they're not little, actually. They're fairly large, almost the size of my hand, for you to put different cards down on. So for an example, like your deck, your cultists, your guts. We also have a card here that kind of shows us the rock, paper, scissors aspect of the slams in the ground zero space. So we will take a look at the cards. I'll explain the cards as well. But each of the cards will have a style, a type, unless they're a defense card or a permanent card. And I'll get into that in just a couple of moments. But so for an example, bizarre trumps dominance. So if you're playing a bizarre attack and you have a card that's still in the ground zero area, your opponent, and was say dominance, then you're going to get like a special extra ability from that card. So I thought that was kind of cool. We've got this just as a nice little reminder. The rule book's nice and short, pretty much to the point. There is one thing that I thought is a little strange, and when we take a closer look at the cards themselves, I will point that out. I am not sure if the design work for these cards is the finished product or if the rule book is going to be the finished product. So I will show off what's a little bit confusing if you're not really paying attention. When you're first learning how to play the game, it's sort of like, well, wait, this icon doesn't match the icon on the card. So anyway, we won't worry about that at the moment. Like I said, pretty simple. There's plenty of little examples of play in the rules as well, and a bit of a glossary. Like I said, I already did an unboxing for this last week, so of course, if you want to get like really nitty gritty into the unboxing, by all means, feel free. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually move some of these cards out of the way. So I'm actually going to move the guts over here, so it's going to be behind my my mug. I'm going to put the deck over here. I'm going to push these cultists off to the side. Then I'm going to pull these cards down a little bit because we don't necessarily need to see these. So, and we also get a 6-sided die. There are some cards that will require you to roll a die. So, let's zoom on in a little bit. And we're going to take a look at the cards. So, just kind of page through here a little bit. So, you're going to see that the cards are going to have a title. Then there's the artwork. And I thought it's kind of interesting because it showed, Cthulhu's beaten down on something, but it is not actually Hastur. Just like the Hastur deck, Hastur's beaten down on different monsters and creatures, but it is not Cthulhu. All right, so hey, I see Dan's popping in from No Enemies Here, taking a break to see me doing my thing. Learning from the master. Get out of here. Come on. So this is a standard attack card. So it's a standard attack card. It's got the type, right? Remember I was talking about these different types? So we're going to see a number here. So we got a number 6 and we got a number 3. So the number 6 is the position that you will play this card when you play this attack card. This is an attack card. And you'll see it has kind of like a little kind of bang icon. And it says 3. Now this is what throws us off a little bit, is because in the rules, it's showing the icon is an arrow. That the icon is actually an arrow with the number. So like so. Right there, we see there's the box where it's telling us what area that it goes into, but then there's an arrow. So that's what kind of threw us off for a second when we were learning how to play this. It was sort of like, wait a second, so what does this do? This doesn't show a movement. It is the momentum. So this is the area that this card will get played when you first play this attack card. That is going to be the momentum that you're going to utilize to move another card that you already have in play out in the universe. So that is an example of an attack card. And this down at the bottom is going to tell you what is the special slam bonus. So remember, Viscera is actually over Bizarre, right? Right there. See, just like Viscera, there's Bizarre. So it's going to, you don't even really need to necessarily have this, because usually down at the bottom, it's going to tell you, oh, hey, so this slams Bizarre. So if we see a little blood drop, that's how much guts it's going to cost your opponent. That's how much damage you're going to do. So for an example here, it would do 4 points, and the enemy must discard a random card and slams Bizarre. So if there was a Bizarre card sitting out there at ground 0, it would actually do 2 more points of damage. So that's an example of an attack card. Another attack card, Bizarre. So we've got permanents. So we've got permanent cards. So you can play a permanent during your turn. And remember, I pointed out, we've got this. It's almost, this reminds me kind of like an old movie, coming soon, permanent. So when you play a permanent, you would actually lay your permanent on this card here. And of course, you can actually kind of stack permanents too. So the permanents, when you play it, it's going to have a little bit of a bonus when you first play it, but then it'll actually do something kind of cooler later on. So for an example, nothing like a good sacrifice in the morning is a permanent. You play it, it's going to cost your opponent 2 guts. But then it says your permanent, when you attack with the bizarre card, you gain a cultist. Woohoo! All right, so I've got those. So like I said, we've got different attacks. We have ranged attacks, which range attacks are kind of different, because what ranged attacks can do is not only they do damage usually, but you can actually push cards further back down the universe, I guess we'll say, of your opponent. And if you push your opponent's card beyond the number 6, which I'll zoom out, we're going to see that again, they lose the card. The card is permanently destroyed. So that's what ranged combat does, and of course, ranged slams Viscera. We should also have, there we go, defense cards. So defense card you can play pretty much at any time. So when your opponent is making their attack and the attack's landing at ground 0, you can play defense, and it basically just says defense. Play when you take damage. Cancel all but 3 damage. It's life is easy when stuff goes through you. So those are the different kinds of cards. Now I do want to point out, you will see this little icon up here for the decks. This is just if you're just learning how to play the game. It's recommended that you take these out and utilize these cards. Put them on top of your deck so you can. These are kind of basic cards, kind of cards to get you into the whole game. Now there are combo cards as well. Let's see if we can find a combo card. There we go. Blubber Bump. Play at the end of your turn if you didn't attack. So, for an example, you're going to combo this with something. Sometimes you might have combo cards that will say, play it once you do attack. And then it'll tell you, okay, so you get this bonus. All right, so those are the different kinds of cards. Then you got cultists. Remember I told you you're going to take the cultist cards and you're going to actually take these out of your deck to start off. So each of the players are going to have cultists, but they actually have to recruit these cultists. So it'll tell you what you get. And it even says, keep separate from your deck and cards in hand. You can sacrifice the cultist to add 1 momentum when moving an attack card. So that's what the cultists do for Cthulhu. If you want to see what the cultists look like for Hastur, there you go. These are the cultists for Hastur. And they're the same. They both do the same. As far as if you're curious, like, okay, so what's the difference between Cthulhu and Hastur? They're kind of similar. Their cards are all different. There's a lot of different artwork in this that I thought was pretty cool. So let's zoom back out a little bit and I'll kind of go through some of the gameplay. So you're going to start off. Let's shuffle my deck back up a little bit here with Cthulhu. You're going to draw 7 cards. So you will have 7 cards. Your opponent is going to have 7 cards. So you're going to decide who's going to go first. I'll put that back over there on the deck. So there's a discussion going on who's from Canada and it's who's living in Italy. I don't know what's going on, gang. I'm kind of focusing on the how to play, but I am peeking over in case somebody's got a question or anything like that. But I always like when everybody's kind of chatting away. All right, so let's see what we got. So we got the Blubber Bump, which is combo. We've got this Viscera Stings, yo. The Macarena Remix. It's a bizarre card. Fist through the chin, like a bowl full of ooze. Angular momentum is not your friend, and fistful of cultists. So let's see what we got. So we've got 4 5s, we've got a 3. So for the heck of it, let's say we were going first. I'd say, okay, I'm going to play that attack card, and that would go into the 3 slot. Now, outside of ground zero, you can only have one card occupying a slot for your side. Now, of course, Hasser's side, they can have the same thing. They could have a card in the 3 slot right now. It's just you can't. So as you're moving cards down, you can actually skip over cards, but you cannot have 2 cards in the same spot. So for an example, if you were moving a card and the card was supposed to move 2 and it's next to something and you had 2 cards already there, you wouldn't be able to move it. It couldn't move. So why would you do that? I don't know. You'd move another card, right? So, what's going on? It's like we dropped some frames for a sec, but not too bad. Not too bad. You guys, you might experience a little tiny bit of lag. Yeah, looks like we're back again. Okay, so there's my card. That's what I played. So I've got 6 cards left. There is no hand limit to this game. All right, so you have 3 different things that you can do on your turn. You can play a card. You can play an attack card. Oh, how did a cultist get in there? What the heck? Get over here. So anyway, you can play an attack card. You can play a defense card, which is basically, you're really usually using the defense card as a counter to someone else playing it. You can play a permanent. So a permanent is a little bit different. So you can play your permanent card, which we don't have any permanents in the Haster hand at the moment. Or you can pass to draw cards. Now you can only pass to draw cards if you have 4 or fewer cards. There are cards that will allow you to get more cards, to draw more cards. Okay, so let's see. Just as an example, let's go Z is for zombie. So that is a bizarre, and that goes into the 4 slot. Now remember, as I pointed out, you would normally have these spread out a bit further, but I wanted to be able to squeeze everything on the screen so everybody could see this, so that's why I've kind of got it kind of overlapping a little bit. All right, so now it would be the Cthulhu player's turn. So let's see. Well, let's see. Well, I've got fist through the chin. See, if I believe if I lift this card up too close to the camera, you aren't gonna be able to see it. It's gonna be out of focus. So, so I got fist through the chin. It's gonna go in the 5 slot, right? So it would go. I'm gonna move that out of the way. Oh, that's his hand. So let's just put that there. So this goes in the 5 slot, and it's got a momentum of 3. So I'm going to put fist through the chin. I'm going to play that there. So we get the fist through the chin. Now it's got a momentum of 3. So that means I am going to move 1, 2, 3. Boom! And it says ground 0. First attack slams. So the first attack slams. So right here, the Macarena Relay remix does 1 damage to my opponent. So my damage would take one of their cards from their gut stack, and they would discard it. That would go into the discards. Boom. So now they're down to 24. I also have play an attack card onto your track in space 3 to 6. Do not apply its momentum. I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. So I put down Fistful of Cultists in 4. Now remember, it says don't play the momentum, so I'm not playing the momentum. Now, remember, first attack slams. So my slam is slams dominance, play the card in space 1 to 6 instead. So, oh, sorry, for a second I was looking, am I rolling a die for this? And I'm like, no, I'm not rolling a die. So I can play the card in space 1 through 6 instead. So I can say, all right, so I am going to play this, and it's going to give me 3 more damage to Haster. So 1, 2, 3 more out of the guts. Boom, they're gone. Now, the Haster player is sitting like, what the hell? So this is where you start looking at, what do I have here? So let's see. Do I have anything that's going to slam Viscera? Nope. Not looking good. So what I might want to do here is just simply play the Fist in yellow. So I play this. That's going to go in the... nope, can't do that one. Sorry. My mistake. I will play Strange Moon's Rise, and you're in the way. Now, I flip this over because we've already had the first attack land. So I will play this. This goes in the 5 slot. This is going to move this 3. 1, 2. And it would be over here in the 1. I'm just overlaying it there so that we can see it, right? So it'd be over there. And then that would be the end of that turn. Then it would be the Cthulhu player again. So you're sitting there like, okay, well, what do I got? I've got a 5. I got a combo. I got a 6. I think I'll play the 6. Visceration stings, yo. So I played the 6. Move this 3. 1, 2, 3. That's my turn. Now I only have 3 cards left. So then the Haster player sitting here is like, okay, what do I got? What do I got? What do I got? I got 4. Let's play the 4. Actually, I should flip them so we can see these cards. It says, say my name. So it goes in the 4 slot. It's got a momentum of 3. So this is going to move it into ground 0. And this would do 2 points of damage. And if I had more cultists than the enemy for the Haster player, it would do more damage. Now, this is not a slam because I have a Viscera card down here at ground 0. Sorry, there's a little bit of glare popping up. And this is bizarre, so this slams dominance. So that attack landed. That attack would actually stay on ground 0 on Haster's side. So effectively what you're trying to do is you're trying to play different cards and you're playing different attacks and you're trying to take advantage of the different kinds of cards that are at ground 0. So when you do that, when you are able to, like say for an example, if there was a dominance card and this bizarre card made it to the attack, it would get the slam as well. You can also do stuff where you'll have cards which will tell you can draw cultists, you can get cultists. You got cards that are like defensive cards, so anytime you get attacked, you would play that defense card so that you're not taking as much damage. The guts go pretty quick. This game can go pretty quickly. It's not going to be a lot of mental heavy lifting by any stretch of the imagination, but it is fun. And I have to say, let me zoom back in some of these cards again. Whoops. Wrong way, Jeff. That's not zooming in. That's zooming in. I really like the artwork on the cards. The quality of the card stock is nice. They are rounded edges, too. So you don't have to worry about cards foxing. I hate when that happens. So I like the artwork. I think a lot of these titles on the cards are pretty funny. Sears Tower to the crotch. We already talked about it's not the Sears Tower anymore. Jet fighters to the face. My wings work, you know. It's the permanent. A mountain walks and pummels. So, give you an example. Like I was talking about the ranged cards. Let's go back. I thought I just passed one by, didn't I? Did I just pass by a range? There we go. So, as I mentioned, see the ranged? We get a little 2 up here, so it does 2 guts. But then there's a little 4 in this. And that means you could move another card from your opponent 4 back. So as I mentioned, if it goes past the 6 at the end, that card's gone. That card's lost. So I really, like I said, I really like the artwork. I think the artwork's pretty cool. I think it's a little bizarre that Cthulhu has like more than two eyes, because I don't recall ever running across something that shows Cthulhu with more than two eyes. But hey, it's okay. Uh, Still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. So, like I said, I like the artwork there. Here's some of the Haster artwork real quick. Little jolly green giant there. Comes right off, see? Pulling the face off. Chaos is king, baby. Make the baby me go cry. Oh. So, do want to point out a few things that might turn people off a little bit. Number one is some of the artwork's a little gruesome. I mean, not horrifyingly bad, but like, okay, so for an example, right? There's some blood, there's some Gru there, pulling a face off. So some people like there, like somebody's head exploding in a bloody mess. So it's not for little kids, certainly, and it's certainly not for those who are, a little more sensitive to these kind of things. I just look at it like, whatever. It's not like I'm going to sit there like being like, wow, I'm just absorbing this artwork. But something else I should point out is there's, kind of like whoop ass. Ass is used a few times. So, I mean, people out there who are, really sensitive about language. I mean, there's no, like, anything like R-rated or anything like that. But, for an example, even like Sears Tower to the crotch, some people would be like, well, somebody getting hit in the crotch, that's not really our thing. So I could see where, more sensitive people probably would not dig the artwork and some of the titles of the cards. But that said, the game, it's still a fun game. And the vast majority of people are going to be fine with it. Something else I do want to mention, too, is as far as thematically, you don't really, outside of the artwork, you don't really get the feeling that it's like, two elder gods going at it, which I could have swore Cthulhu is a great old one and Haster is an elder god, but hey, I don't know. But anyway, so thematically, I don't want to say it's pasted on, because there's a lot of artwork and a lot of, just kind of cool little quips as far as the card titles. But as far as like, wow, I felt like, I'm Cthulhu. No, that's not happening. Anyway, so all in all, what do I think of Wrestlenomicon? So we enjoyed it. It's easy to learn. It's pretty quick. I will point out that there's a lot of luck, because of course it's luck of the draw for one. You do take 25 cards out of your deck just at random to start the game. Some people may not like that too much. Honestly, if you don't care for that, what you can do is you can almost kind of like deck build and just take the 25 cards out that you don't want and make those your guts. But honestly, most people I don't think are going to get like that detailed about their gameplay. The game moves along pretty quickly, so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I get a kick out of some of the titles in that on the different cards. I think there's enough to it that you kind of have to think about what you're trying to pull off as far as getting your attacks down to ground zero and hopefully being able to take advantage of the last card sitting at ground zero, last attack in ground zero from your opponent, maybe to get a slam, to get extra damage or maybe a special effect, things like that. I like the game quite a bit. I thought it was pretty cool. So I give Wrestlenomicon a very solid 8.4 out of 10. As I mentioned, most people are really going to dig it. I gotta be honest, if you're not super into Lovecraft, yeah, I don't know. It's still a fun game, but you may not be sitting there going, oh my gosh, I got to get this game. That being said, though, for a $20 game, there's a lot here. There's a good amount of gameplay. There's a little bit of strategy. Love the artwork. Card quality is really nice. I have seen games for more than $20 that don't have half the gameplay that Wrestlenomicon does. Do want to point out, if you do not get this during the Kickstarter and you see this video after the fact, when it's at retail, it's probably going to carry, I believe, an MSRP of $25. As I mentioned before, there is a Kickstarter going on right now for, where did I put the box? There's the box. Wrestlenomicon over at Kickstarter. So you've got until April 19th to back that. Okay, so now that the review's done, do want to point out that if you are a fan of thegaminggang.com and possibly the Daily Dope, which you're watching right now, please consider making a small donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Yes, that's right. Lil Bub's Big Fund does provide grant monies to organizations who care for special needs animals who are awaiting adoption. These are not just special needs animals sitting there just wasting away. No, these are pets that are looking for good forever homes. So, do want to point out, if you like the show, if you like the website, please consider making a small donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund. And if you do, just shoot me an email. My email address is right down there in the corner. Shoot me a quick email. Let me know that you did. I will give you a quick shout out on the following show. So I have had people making donations. They're like, no, I don't want a shout out. And I get it. I completely get it. And I certainly do appreciate that. And I'm just a big softie when it comes to animals, and especially special needs pets too. So every animal I have ever owned has come from a shelter. I have never gone and purchased it from. Okay, I take that back. I got a cat from somebody. In fact, the cat is now my brother and sister-in-law's cat, their family cat, one of them, and I got her, Tigger, from somebody had told me about a doctor who needed to get rid of this cat because unfortunately his wife was terminally ill and I guess had been really close to the cat and got to the point where she couldn't have the cat around her. So I took the cat in. So yeah, I'm a softie. What can I tell you? All right, so what's coming up on the shows this week and into next? So on tomorrow's show, it's Wargame Wednesday. So I will be unboxing and taking a first look at this new deluxe edition, this new edition of The Dark Valley from Ted S. Racier from our friends over at GMT Games. This is obviously got a mounted board inside. This is a much deeper box, much bigger box. I know a lot of our wargaming friends are going to be watching tomorrow to check out the Dark Valley. Thursdays are RPGs on the Daily Dope, 99% of the time. And I am finally going to review the collector's edition slipcase of John Carter of Mars from Modifius Entertainment. This carries the core book as well as the first supplement. It's pretty sweet. This is really, really nicely done. That's on Thursday's show. Friday, I will be reviewing Robotech Crisis Point from Solar Flare Games. Yes, my friend Dave over at Solar Flare. This is actually Southern Cross. So this is actually like the second arc in Robotech. So I will be reviewing that on Friday's show. Monday! Yes, I'm finally reviewing Kanban Drivers Edition from Stronghold Games. So that's on Monday's show. A lot of reviews. Reviews are stacking up, folks. Because on Tuesday, I'll be reviewing Judge Dredd, The Cursed Earth. Just did an unboxing and first look at this yesterday. So I am going to, this is going to be gotten to the gaming table this weekend. So that is on next Tuesday's show. And then a week from tomorrow, I will be reviewing Ghost Front. This is the expansion for Old School Tactical from Mark H. Walker and the fine folks over at Flying Pig Games. All right, so there you have it. Let me grab a quick sip here. Wow. It's a little chilly down here tonight. It's like, oh, it's supposed to snow tomorrow. It's like, yay, baseball season's here. Here comes the snow. I gotta admit, though, I was at a Cubs opener years and years ago. This is probably late 80s, maybe early 90s. And there was actually snow in the ballpark. So there was still snow on, not on the seats, they brushed it off, but there was still snow as you were walking to your seats. So I guess that'll be happening tomorrow too. I'm going to assume there's going to be a lot of games that get postponed tomorrow because there's supposed to be this snowstorm that's going through like a lot of the Midwest, like Denver and stuff like that. All right, so that is it for today's show. As I like to always point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I am Jeff McAleer. I will be back tomorrow. So until then, everybody who popped into chat, thank you very, very much for popping in. And, of course, if you're watching after the fact, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.